What's up, guys? It's Dragon Ball for Life here, and today I want to talk about multiverse theory. Now, I covered this in my last video about Dragon Ball multiverse, but I want to talk about the actual theory this time in our world and what it basically means and my opinions on it. Now, I'm not going to go over too much because I did explain quite a bit of it in the last video, so I'm just going to give you a brief description of it. What multiverse theory is basically every decision we make and every decision we don't make creates a parallel alternate universe and world that has basically us as doppelgangers, but the only difference is whatever decision we made, that's the decision they go by. It can be major, it can be small. Now, personally, for me, I don't really like this theory. And yes, it is still just a theory. There are a lot of, scientists and legitimate scientists that do believe in it, but there's also a ton that don't. And I'm not a scientist myself, but I also personally don't believe in it because I just think it's kind of ridiculous to think that we, with how small we are, we can create another universe and worlds and races just by simply making a decision. I feel like that's just too weird. Also, it doesn't make sense. How is our decisions creating all these other timelines and realities? Like, I get it if you're manipulating time, like, if we had some time travel and we change an event, but then that would maybe create an alternative timeline, and that's probably something different. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video on that some other time. But personally, I just don't like the idea of that. I just think it's ridiculous to think that we could do something like that. Like, most of us can't do a lot of things. There's a lot of crazy things we can't do, but we can create an entire universe just because we made a decision or didn't make a decision. That seems a little too crazy in my opinion, if I'm being honest. That's why I don't like it. But also, I feel like it doesn't make much sense. Like, for me, I do believe that there are other universes out there, but I do think that all these other universes are different. I don't think they're all the same. It's weird for me to think that there's countless other universes, or what they're saying is infinite, actually. Infinite amount of universes where they're created just because of our decision, and they're all just basically almost the same with just some changes here and there, which I think is kind of ridiculous if you ask me, like I said before. Like, you're telling me that out of all these universes, they are all almost carbon copies of each other. Wouldn't it make more sense that all these other universes are unique and different? That makes more sense. In science, it's very rare to have, species or planets or anything that's complete duplicate of itself. I mean, we've been looking for other Earths, like exo-Earths and shit, and I feel like we still haven't found, we haven't found a planet that's exactly similar to ours. There's a lot of differences. So if it's hard to find a planet in our own universe that matches our planet and has living species like us, then why would I believe that there's other universes that are exactly carbon copies of ours? I feel like it would be more reasonable to believe that these other universes are unique and on their own. And there is actually a term for that. When there's another universe that's not a parallel, it's considered a xenoverse, and you guys will know that since there's Xenoverse 1 and 2 and for Dragon Ball. So that word basically means an alien or strange universe, basically mean a foreign universe that's different, which I do believe that. I believe that there are other universes, just simply that they're all different. They don't have the same people, they don't have the same planet. They might not even have the same cosmology. They might be a little different. They might have different rules of science and stuff. So it might be even crazier. But I just can't believe that they have the same. Also, if I'm being honest, I personally just don't like the idea of there being other versions of me, especially if there's versions of me that are doing really good and I'm not. I know it's kind of petty, but I just feel like that's kind of annoying. And it is kind of weird to think about having other versions of yourself, because then you're going to be like, what makes me special? I'm no longer unique anymore. And on top of that, am I even the original, or am I just created off of a decision of another version of me? So I don't like that idea either. The thought of that kind of annoys me. It kind of reminds me of Jet Li's I Am the One. In that movie, he basically had like a alternate version of himself who was killing other versions of himself off. And he was getting strong about it too, but he was killing them off to be the only one version of himself. That's what it's called, the one. And basically, to be honest, it was messed up, but I'm not gonna lie, I can honestly see why he would do that. I mean, I would hate the fact that there's other versions of me. I would want only there to be one version of me. But personal beliefs aside, I still do think it's ridiculous to have other worlds created because of our decision, and on top of that, having these worlds be exactly the same. If there are other universes out there, I believe that it's more likely that they're going to be different in their own unique universes. Also, when we go to a writing standpoint narrative, such as in Marvel or DC, when we see this multiverse theory, the only reason it's written in those stories is simply for one reason: it's easy. Basically, you use the same character again, just change things here and there. And for me, it always feels lazy. Instead of creating different characters in different universes and having different possibilities, you just have the same characters with just different changes. And I get it, it's cool sometimes, but I don't want every fictional universe to have that same thing. I feel like that's kind of annoying. Like, of every fictional universe just has a multiverse. Is like, come on, be a little more original. That's why I do like the Dragon Ball's way of handling it. Even though I think it's still kind of weird, I do like the fact that these universes are different and have different people, except for like the twin ones, but then they have different people in there at least. So I think as a writing standpoint, like in comic books or in any form of fiction, I do find it kind of lackluster to see basically the same characters just with different changes. I just feel like it's an easy way for, writers to cop out of actually writing convincing and new, unique characters. So yeah, I don't like that personally. I rather not. I don't believe multiverse theory. And since I did talk about, this is not a real terminology by scientists. I'm just making this up. The first one is real. Like, other universes are called xenoverses, and xenoverses basically means foreign or alien. But I feel like, because multiverse theory is not just talking about that. That's basically a comparison to parallel. Multiverse theory means the collection of all parallel worlds. So personally, I would call, like, I do believe there's countless other, universes that are different, so xenoverses. So basically, I'll call it a multiverse, not multiverse, multi/verse, instead of, it combined. So personally, if I was to ever write a story, and if I was to do it on some characters, I would do it of all these other universes are completely different, and I'll call it the multiverse, where it's basically all unique universes. I think it's kind of lazy to keep, like, redoing the same thing with just little changes. So yeah, that's my personal opinion on multiverse theory. I could be wrong, I don't know, but to be honest, I think that it makes more sense for there to be other universes that are unique than to be the same. But who knows? I'm not a scientist. I don't know. It's just my personal belief, and personally, I just don't like the idea of it. So with that being said, I'm Dragon Ball for Life here, and have a good day, and peace out.